This is the most honest conversation I have had so far at Nas Summit. It's with the godfather of YouTube, Casey Neistat. Watch at your own risk. Why did you stop?
One, it was like, I was just exhausted.
Why do you think people like you? Like, there's a lot of things that are unlikable about you. Wearing glasses, it's indoors, there's no sun. Why are you wearing glasses?
I make money to make movies. I don't make movies to make money. And that was true then. It's definitely true now.
Wow.
Managing people is my least favorite thing in the world.
Least
favorite thing. I'm terrible at it.
A lot of people ask me, is Casey nice? And I honestly couldn't answer that question.
With Nas Summit coming back to the stage, he's called the godfather of YouTube. Yes, he's inspired millions of creators around the world. Many of them are sitting in this very room, by the way. And one, Nasai, is going to be interviewing him right now. Ladies and gentlemen, go crazy, get up off your seats. It is Casey Neistat! Yes! Here we go!
Barbara Streisand.
Standing ovation.
You know, Jordan, I was listening to your talk backstage, and I feel like if you give me like 5% of your speaking fee every time you mention my name, I could just retire forever. But I appreciate it.
I gotta say, I haven't seen a standing ovation in a while. That's pretty cool, congrats.
Well,
Guys, yeah, go ahead.
I'm just happy to be here. Look at all these excited faces. And
So-
also, wait, I don't mean to take over anything, but I just want to say what a big deal it is that Nas is doing this. Like, what a tremendous undertaking, bringing together such an international community that all revolves around being creators. And I'm just so psyched for this guy, and then we all get to be here. I'll shut up so we can do this discussion. I just want to acknowledge this great man.
Thank you, what a nice guy. Thank you. So before coming on stage, Casey gave me a warning. He said, if you ask me a shallow question, I'm going to give you a one-word answer, and I'm going to get off stage.
Just gonna stand up and walk out.
Okay, so not even a one-word answer. So for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to try to ask you as many difficult and sensitive questions as possible because you said there are no boundaries.
That's right. I mean, unless you ask a really stupid, like if you ask me like, Casey, what does creativity mean to you? I'm gonna stand up, walk out, get on a plane, fly home.
Okay, so for the first 10 minutes, I want to focus on you as a person.
No pressure.
Perfect. No, this is more pressure.
Okay.
I'm going to focus on you as a person, and the next 10 minutes, I'm going to focus on you as a creator.
Okay.
And the last 10 minutes, I'm going to make a Q&A, okay, guys?
Okay.
So,
I'm ready.
Casey, first of all, who the hell are you? Like, how would you describe yourself in like one, who are you?
Well, I mean, that changes so much, but like right now in 2022, I think more so now than ever in my whole life, I'm just like a 40-year-old married guy with 2 babies at home. That's what my life is right now. I mean, not right now I'm here with you guys, but like that is what 90% of my focus is right now.
So that question made some people happy, that answer. But that answer made a lot of people sad.
I'm sure.
Because a lot of people are trying to understand, why the hell did you stop? Why did you stop?
Well, there's a lot of, that's a good question, Nas. So far you're crushing it,
Yes!
man. There was a couple of things. One, it was like, I was just exhausted. Like, no, I mean, Jordan talked about it, but I was every day and so focused on what I was doing, and it's like, I think the term's called hyper-focus. Is that real, or did I just make that up?
Probably.
Where like you just get so enveloped in one thing that's your only, and you become entirely myopic, and that's all you can see. And I think with my YouTube vlog, and especially as I think the big picture, I was like worked in the traditional film world for a dozen years, and then like when I got into YouTube, it was the most satisfying thing ever. Like I could just express myself and click one button and then ignore it, and it would share with the world, and if people loved it, great. And if they hated it, I didn't have to deal with them. It was nothing. It was just a wonderful thing. But after, 5 years of that or 4 years of that, I was just beat and everything suffered. And I wanted to just stop that and focus on something else entirely.
And what is that something else?
That wife and those babies.
That's great.
I'm serious. I don't think people, why would people know this? But like, my life right now is the most obscenely indulgent thing ever. I like live in my house. I like wake up at 6:30 with the kids. I'm totally serious. I have like make pancakes. I had like an apron that was like a buff man in a Speedo, and I would like wear it every day until my wife threw it away. She's like, we don't need that apron in our house. Like, I'm Mr. Mom. I like make the pancakes, get my daughter's lunch ready, like sit in the breakfast with my kids, and then like I play with them all day. Like
Wow.
That's my life.
I cannot relate to this.
It's fantastic.
Cannot relate to this. Do you think you'll do this forever, for the rest of your life?
No, they're all getting big. They're like, kids go to school now. I like, don't know what to do when they go to school. I'm like, oh, there goes my little girl. Have a great day. Honestly, it's the most, these guys like want to talk about creators not being a dad, but like, it's the most indulgent reward ever. And I made a movie about this before I left New York City, but like, I had my son Owen when I was dirt poor and really struggling, and I didn't get to focus. And I always said, if I ever had another opportunity. And then I realized when I was in New York City and I was 37 and I had these 2 babies, I was like, you know what, like, I think if I stop working forever, I'll probably be really broke, but I'm in a place where I can pump the brakes majorly and just do nothing but focus on these kids. Like, what does that feel like? And it was really special. And how long does that last for? The answer is like not very long, because, no, I mean it. Like when they go from being 6 months old to being 4 years old in school, like it really feels like that moment is already starting to fade away, and I'm already looking to sort of something more productive with my life, because that just is unsustainable.
Okay, so there will be a comeback. That's good to know. I've always wondered this, Casey. By the way, do you know that Nas Daily started because of you?
I think you've told me that. It's
I told
a
you
big
that before.
honor.
I'll tell you this again.
I'm a huge Nas Daily fan.
Me too. I saw this guy. He had a wife. I was single back then. He had a kid. I had no kids. And he was making daily content of 20 minutes and above, and he captured the hearts of New York. And he captured the heart of the world, and I looked at you and I said, if this guy can do it every day, then I can do it every day. Did you know that? I don't think anybody knows that. So thank you for doing it every day. Now my question to you is,
Okay, ready.
why do you think people like you? Like, there's a lot of things that are unlikable about you. Wearing glasses, it's indoors, there's no sun. Why are you wearing glasses? Why is there a personality market fit?
I mean, there's a bunch of really funny questions, but since we don't have a lot of time, I'll try to give you a serious one. I think it's the nature of those daily videos. I'm not that likable in person. I don't have any friends. People don't alienate people around me. Don't get near me, whatever you do. But those videos, like, I had a very specific mission, even though like they would change and some were really great and some were just so. And that mission was just sort of like pluck one thing from my life today and tell that thing really, really well. And I think that by doing that, it felt like I was living an extraordinary life. And as fascinating and lucky of a guy as I am, I think my life is pretty normal, but I was just able to share that life in a way that felt extraordinary, that maybe was extraordinary. I would take something really mundane. I made like a 5-minute video about like my shower head. Like these videos, the subject matter was not earth-shattering. And I think to focus on things like that just felt so relatable in a world where like a lot of things really feel alienating. And I know for me, like the content that I relate to the most is stuff that I feel like I have some sort of relationship with. So I think that's why it wasn't just the videos, but there was a real relationship between me, the person, and the audience. I think, I don't know.
Interesting.
Mr. Beast is a good friend of mine, and I talk to him so much about making YouTube videos, and he's so focused on the math and the metrics and the algorithms and all of that, and I never, ever look at any of that. I never have. Monetization wasn't even clicked on until I crossed 100 million views, which don't ever do that. It was really stupid. I could really use that money right now. But I never look at that. I don't want to understand why people like the videos. Like, that's when for me, they stop being an expression of creativity and they start to be something more transactional. The minute I'm optimizing my creativity for dollars, like I feel like I'm losing something. And that's not to take away from people like Mr. Beast, who's built an empire on doing just that. But for me, it was about something else. And I think the reason why there was such a strong relationship with the audience is because of that something else.
Yes, people love your art, but you try to become a businessman at some point in your life. You tried to build a tech company, Beam. You sold it to CNN for $25 million. You built another company, 368. You tried to become a businessman, right, and put the dollar first. How did that happen? How did that go?
I mean, I don't think that's right. I think that the irony is, like, I started making my vlog because I was already building a business, and I thought it'd be an interesting thing for me to, I thought it'd be good subject matter. Like, the business is what yielded the videos, not the other way around, in that case. So it wasn't about, like I always said, I make money to make movies. I don't make movies to make money. And that was true then. It's definitely true now.
Wow. You make money to make movies. You don't make movies to make money.
Yeah. I used to wash dishes to make money. I was a bike messenger, so I could take that money and make videos. Like, I would do anything so I'd have enough money to be able to make a video.
Did you want to build like a large organization, like a large company, tech company, media company?
No, I hate employees. It's my least favorite thing. Managing people is my least favorite thing in the world. Least favorite thing. I'm terrible at it. Today, you guys know the great legend filmmaker Dan Mace.
Dan Mace is right there.
So Dan has somebody who works for him, is a super talented young man with him today. And we were like, Dan and I went surfing today, so Dan asked Liam, who works for Dan, if he could film some shots of us surfing. This is garbage footage that we're using for nothing, just for fun. There's zero consequence, and it doesn't matter. I think I yelled at Liam today 45 times because he wasn't holding the tripod correctly. I'm not good at managing people. In fact, Beam, my tech startup, the reason why we were so successful is because on day one, I had a business partner whose superpower in this world is management. Matt Hackett is a virtuoso when it comes to communication, interpersonal skills, all of those things, which meant I didn't have to do that.
Wow.
And that's how I was able to build businesses. Paul, who still operates 368 successfully. You know Paul?
Yes.
Tremendous guy when it comes to operations like that. I hate operations like that.
So, you know, when we made a video together 4 years ago.
Yeah.
By the way, thank you for saying yes to making the video.
I was a fan then.
What?
I was a fan.
Thank you, man. Oh, it's such an honor.
Nas.
That's an honor. A lot of people ask me, is Casey nice? And I honestly couldn't answer that question.
No. the
Because
answer
look,
is
I'm going to play
hard
you a
no.
video. In the video, can I just do the iPad real quick? I'm going to show you like an example, okay? This is a video we made together. Is the audio on?
Never be Nas.
You want me to pantomime it?
The shot isn't even level. You guys do your thing.
Wait, what is enemy level?
It's not level.
Look at how you
level.
treated me.
You guys do your thing.
Wait, look at how you treated me when I was kind of like your employees for one day, okay?
Be Casey. And I could never be Nas. Is infuriating. The shot isn't even level. You guys do your thing.
Wait, what do you mean level?
It's not level. Look at the background. It's not level. It's skewed. Look at this line. It's yellow, not clean.
It's like very tiny. It's a tiny thing. Now it's level.
This story is not about
It's difficult to work with you.
You know, there's a truth in life, and that's that when someone, the greatest insult you could bestow on someone, like if someone were to ever ask me, like, what's that guy Nas like? And my response was, he's nice. There is no greater, that means you have nothing interesting to say about that person. I would never say that about you, Nas. I care about you
What would
way
you say?
too much to ever say you're nice. I'd be like, Nas, this guy's fucking fascinating. He's like building businesses left and right. Somehow he created these videos that are not like skateboarding around New York City, but like these global videos about these amazing things that are happening around the world. And via like sharing those stories, you created empathy for things that would otherwise go undiscovered. Like, I have a lot to say about
Okay,
you.
bro, today's about you. Today's about you. Thank you. I
The
appreciate
word
it.
nice would not be in the top 100.
And I wouldn't say you're nice. I would say you're a machine.
Great, as long as nice isn't the thing you think.
And that's really interesting because a lot of people look at the content, the one you make, the one I make, the one everybody makes. And it's nice content, like you're nice to everybody that passes you by
Yeah.
New York. But honestly, when you're at a restaurant and you're having a great time in a nice romantic environment, the kitchen is a hellhole. It's like it takes stress and unniceness to create a beautiful product. And people don't understand that.
You know, I have a rule in life, which is never hire someone. This is just a total non sequitur. Never hire an employee or get into a relationship with someone who has not worked in a restaurant. Because if you haven't worked in a restaurant, you don't know how life is. My wife was a waitress, she was a bartender, she was a manager. I've washed dishes, I was a cook, I was a bouncer, I've been a busboy, and I know how it is.
Casey, I'm going to shift and talk to you as a creator.
Okay.
Okay? What the hell is going on with the world? You made a lot of videos that are 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Back then we had time for you. But now the world is going to 1 minute, 30 seconds, TikToks. Where do you stand on this?
You know, somebody really smart, filmmaker Backstage did an interview with, and that's like a really formal, you know, magazine that covers the most formal version of filmmaking. And I think that my response to them was that there are just all these new venues to express yourself. So, no, I think it's a really low blow to poo-poo, to speak ill of TikTok. I don't think TikTok is competing with filmmaking. When I started making YouTube videos, I got the same hard time from traditional filmmakers because YouTube wasn't filmmaking. YouTube was something else. And I think maybe that's true. There are all these different outlets, but as long as they all start from a place of creative expression, how they manifest and where they're shared, I don't think matters. And that's how I feel about TikTok. I think it's great.
So you have no problem with like this stuff? You have no problem with that?
Well, it's not my favorite, but there's, excuse me, there's tremendous talent on TikTok. There are brilliant creators on that platform, and there's going to be terrible content everywhere. You can spend $15 and watch a terrible movie in a movie theater. You can click play on YouTube and watch a terrible 5-minute movie. You can definitely watch a terrible 40-second video on TikTok. But there are just more places for creativity to exist now. It doesn't mean that the amount of quality stuff is ever going to increase.
Right. So when you started, the place for creativity on the internet was YouTube and a little bit of Vimeo. But a lot has changed in the last 12 years. If you were to start today, as Casey, where would you go and what would be your format?
Ooh, that's a great question. You know, for me, self-distribution is the greatest thing in the world. And that's why I started on YouTube. My YouTube vlog is identical to my HBO show. And my HBO show that I made in like 2008 with my brother Van, it is literally a YouTube vlog, but YouTube vlogging didn't exist then. YouTube then was just like a place for basketball highlight reels. It wasn't a place, it was never a destination for real consumption. And we put this show that was great, we put it on HBO, stellar reviews, nobody watched it. Nobody watched it. Our audience, my audience, was not on HBO. And then I put that same exact content on YouTube, and tremendous audience. So I really think it's like, it doesn't really matter where you are, it's about where you can connect to your audience. And I think that dovetails nicely with your previous question. I think for a lot of people, their audience is on TikTok. And I think for a lot of people, their audience still exists on YouTube. And I think for a lot of other people that are into long form, their audience now can exist on all these streamers. So again, I think like, the top of the funnel just keeps getting bigger. It invites more and more people in. But one truth that's not changing is the bottom of the funnel of what's great is not getting any bigger.
That's a great answer.
And I don't mean that to
I know.
speak
You
ill
didn't
of
give me a
anything
direct
being
answer,
made.
but I like it. I agree.
Yeah.
So you would start on YouTube again, then I would assume.
I think so. Until something better comes along for longer format content, I think YouTube is the place for someone like me.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
Crypto. Fan
What?
or no?
Yeah, huge. I just never talk about it, and I especially never speak about it on social media because I think it's nuanced and it's complicated, and everything that I've seen every influencer do, whether they do it virtuously or in a way that's total manipulation and nonsense, all of it looks bad. So no, I don't speak about it publicly.
So why should content creators care about crypto or NFTs or this whole Web3 technology?
Look, I just think it's the nature of the future. And why should they care about it? They shouldn't. If like you're starting out as a creator, you should absolutely not be thinking about that. It is not relevant yet. That is what's next. If you're an entrepreneur, well, there's a lot of opportunity there. If you want to break into a new space, there's a lot of opportunity there. But if you're a creator and creativity is what matters to you, I think like it's not essential to focus on what's next. It's essential to figure out what the best avenue is for you to distribute your content today.
Got it. You know, I want to try to involve the audience a little bit because I don't think you realize. I'll tell you why I don't like the fact that you're now a father and a husband.
Whoa, easy there, Nas. Where are you going with this one?
Sometimes I feel like the influence you had on planet Earth is so large that you may not even comprehend it yourself, right? Because of your videos, many other content creators were created, right? I'm one of them, but I'm gonna take a guess. Who here started content creation because of Casey?
Wow.
That's
That's a lot of
insane.
people. And that guy.
And then this guy called Abi. Where's Abi and Neo? You started, you're in India, right? How many followers do you have? How many followers do you have now?
My God. 6.2 million.
6.2. And you have probably billions of views. You have had billions. Can somebody give him a mic? Get him a mic.
How many views?
Total views.
Yeah, come on, give us the number.
Number of views, 10 million per video combined.
Combined, give us the
Sorry?
big fat
Of
number.
all time, 500 million. We have crossed 500 million views entirely.
So you started because of
Hello.
Casey, right?
Yeah. I started because of Casey, and I was in a really bad state of mind when I started watching a video. I watched a video that you made, that do what you can't, and I commented on your video. And I never thought that I would be here reading that comment to you. But
I'm sorry if I missed it. I try to read all the comments, but it always makes me incredibly depressed. So I usually don't make it all the way through.
yeah, I followed the advice that do what you can't, and that's what made everybody over here come over here, because we did what you can't, and that's what you said. So this is what I wrote. Dear Casey, as a fan, as a creator, as a family man, I want to say thank you to you. Because some years ago, you said something that made me leave everything, and I owe you in a way. Do what you can't, you said, because you are venturing into a world with no rules, no boundaries, and no gatekeepers. We are the creators. We are the makers of our content and our future. So I left my job, which didn't make me happy, and struggled for years. And those years were honestly crappy. But somewhere I felt I can have a day with all the traffic lights turning green when I'm in a hurry, as you said in a video. But I have to say this, thank you, Casey. You showed me and millions of others that having a voice is possible. Because please don't stop making content, whether it's in form of videos, documentaries, movies, or just scribbles on a notepad. I don't care, because I feel a connection with whatever you have to share. So thank you, Casey, because what you do matters.
And now you know, Casey.
Well, it's always nice to hear. Thank you. And congratulations.
Thank you.
It's heavy, man.
So my question to you is, right, I don't want to put this out, I'm honestly just thinking about this, right? Sometimes, the people around, like my wonderful girlfriend, for example, right? You know her, you gave her some nice classes. She also have these conversations in which sometimes the people closest to you have to pay a price in order for the world to benefit, right? So you have 50 million people that we can benefit, but that may come at the cost of 5 people.
Yeah.
How do you think about that?
I think it's probably bullshit. I mean that. I mean, I think that's great, and it's romantic, and it's a really cool thing to say. but it really sucks for the people nearest to you. And I think as I get older, I realize the people nearest to you matter more to me than those 50 million strangers. And maybe that makes me the bad person. But like, I don't know, like, you know, find your own fucking inspiration. I've got a 3-year-old and I'm all she's got, you know? Like, I'm all that she has. I'm her dad. So she's the priority. So like, Casey, why aren't you spending more time with your kid? Because the world needs me to be inspired. I think that's wrong.
Wow, that's amazing. I wanted disagreement on stage and I got it. And that's one valid way, and as you said, there's many valid ways to sort of like live life.
And there's a balance. I don't mean to be extreme. I think like, look, my dad worked 60 hours a week when I was a kid. And like we would wait up at night for him to come home. So he owned his own business and he would always come home after it was dark and we'd wait up to see him. And that must have been so difficult for him. And I don't think his jobs, like selling used restaurant supplies, was trying to change the world. But he struggled with that balance. And I think we all struggle with that balance, like our own priorities versus our careers. And I think, you know, where is the priority? And how I interpreted your question is do you prioritize the impact of your career and use that as justification to sacrifice those nearest to you? And I just reject that. I reject it wholly. I'm guilty of it.
But you've done it for years.
For years. I remember Candace being like, why can't you just not vlog on the weekends? And I'm like, I have to. And I think I was wrong. And I don't look back and say I regret it. But when I really stop and empathize with her, and I think empathy is like the solution to all the world's problems, when I really empathize with her, I think she was right. I think she was totally right. But it's very easy for me to say now because I have like money and success, and that little baby's asleep and his dad's carrying him out, and that's just the cutest thing I've ever seen. And I'm sorry for swearing.
Okay, so I'm going to stop here because I think I got what I want out of you, and thank you for being so honest and transparent. I want to leave it up for the audience to ask a couple of questions. Raise your hand if you have a question for Casey. I'm going to actually choose Will Dasovich because I also know is another Filipino YouTuber who also started because of you. Will, what's your question?
So my question is in regards to making a documentary and telling a story and then holding your relationships with the individuals that are closest to you. Because I've made many documentaries on my friends before, and I've decided to not put in certain things because I value my relationship with that person more than the story, but then the story is like the most important thing as a creator, as a filmmaker. So how do you navigate through that dichotomy? Because I know you recently, I don't know if it's out yet, but you just created a documentary.
Yeah, so the backstory on that is like I've spent the last 3 years making a feature-length film that just premiered at a festival last week. So it's just been seen for the first time ever. And the documentary is about David Dobrik. And the inception of that documentary was sort of, as I was slowing down on YouTube, I wanted to tell the story of a top creator. Like I wanted to tell the story of what I experienced. And David at the time, his star was rising. He was such an undeniable phenomenon that I was like, he is the perfect candidate. He's also funny and charming and likable, and his content is unlike anything I've seen. His content was not, in my opinion, an expression of creativity. It was like a little window, a little peephole into the life of like a 20-year-old who had like unlimited money. Like I was fascinated by who he was and what he was doing. And I started that documentary, and it took me in fascinating directions. But then a bunch of really, really insanely existential controversies arose around him. And I was sort of forced to confront the question, like, do I kill this project because I don't want to address those controversies? Do I protect this guy? Or do I just do what I can and try to tell the truth? And I think like when you're in a situation like that, those are really your only options. And I think at the end of the day, telling the truth is the only way you can leave your own integrity intact. And like, integrity is really fucking expensive, but it's really hard to sleep at night if you compromise that integrity. So I think there is no generic answer to your question. I think that it is entirely circumstantial. And the circumstances that I found myself in when facing that dichotomy were incredibly challenging. And I think I made the right decision. I think I absolutely made the decision that was based on integrity and loyalty. And that loyalty is to myself and what I believe in and what I hold dear and true. So there's no answer to that question. That's an impossible question.
That's a good question then, right?
Yeah, amazing question. I wanted to ask it too.
Okay.
Thank you.
There you go.
Let's do 2 more and then we finish, okay?
Wait, Nas,
Yes, sir.
can we make sure we go boy, girl, boy, girl?
Thank you. Aline. Go, Mike, yeah. By the way, I think my girlfriend likes you more than she
You're
likes
stacking the deck, so you could just text me your question. Okay.
Give
go,
it to someone
go.
else.
Okay, go.
me. Okay, I'll give it
I'll text you.
Okay, text me.
I just thought they would enjoy it. That's why.
What's the question?
Yeah,
We'll do another go.
just
Go ahead. What's the
teasing you, I'm
question?
teasing
Just quickly, while you're finding someone else, my question was, I feel like a lot of creators, as we're growing, a lot of people here, I work with a lot of creators, so I hear the problems they're facing. Like, there's kind of like, we're talking about doing it for the art, blah, 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 but like, people also need to make money, and then there's like this weird attachment to followers, and there's this judgment of how many followers you have and how much money you make, and it's supposed to be like this creative outlet, but then everybody's struggling with like the balance of ego and followers, and even like the nicest big people are still kind of judging you by that. So like, how would you approach that?
I mean, look, I think it depends on what you're in it for. If you're in it for ego, then like, yeah, whoever has the most followers
But
wins.
even if you don't want to be in it for ego, like
then you
that's
shouldn't give a shit what
the
anybody
ether.
else thinks.
okay.
Like, what does it matter?
But don't you probably mainly hang out with people who have like a lot of followers?
Wait, what did you just ask?
Don't you probably mostly hang out with other people who have a lot of followers at your
Not
level?
really.
No? You hang out with tiny creators?
I mean, haven't really have many friends.
That's
that are
why you don't hang out with
creators. They're
anyone.
also egomaniacal. That was a
Okay.
joke. It was just a joke.
Amazing.
Give it to another girl.
Let's go. You. Right? Yeah, that girl, yeah.
But no, the short answer to that is if somebody's judging you based on how many followers or how much money you make, you are hanging around with the wrong people.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Aline, for that. Shout out to Dear Aline and Dear Aline Retreat.
Go, fast, running out of time. Go.
No, I had to. Okay, thank you, Casey. I have a question because I own a social network app for artists to co-create art, so it very much is pioneered and spearheading for people to create and express for the sake of that. So I really appreciate your take on that. And kind of coming off of what she was saying, there is an imbalance or like difficulty to monetize, to optimize, like people feel like they're giving up something in that way. And I don't know if there is an answer, but is one of the deepest prevailing issues in these communities. And I was wondering, how did you kind of find that for yourself? What helped you? I know it's like just create for the sake of creating, and that's kind of what we're repeatedly told, but I don't see like the actual way for creators to be able to do it without feeling like they're missing out on it. Do you know what
I mean, look, I only have like really hard answers for that, which is like, you know, not everybody gets to make a living at this. Like, I want to be a professional basketball player, but I'm terrible at basketball. I'll never get paid to play basketball, and that sucks. But I still play basketball because I love it, and that's why I do it. And like before I ever made 1 penny off of making videos, I still made videos every single day. So some people are really lucky and they get to make a living at it, and I think something really optimistic is we're seeing those opportunities just get bigger and bigger and bigger. You asked before about TikTok. I think like so many of the creators that are really thriving on TikTok and making a living at it would never have been able to do that on YouTube. I think that Nas Daily only worked on Facebook. Like we talked about this when we first met. I'm like, dude, why aren't you on YouTube? You were right. Like 1-minute videos at that time wouldn't have worked on YouTube. It was something about scrolling down, seeing your fucking face pop up that I'm like, what does this guy have to say today? Like, it worked. And I think that like we are seeing the opportunities just get more and more vast, and that's wonderful. And I think that we'll continue to see that get bigger and bigger and bigger. But it doesn't mean that everybody, this isn't egalitarian, like this isn't fair. This is a meritocracy or something more sinister than that. Like this is, only some people win here, and it's not always based on who's the best or the smartest or who makes the best content or who's the best artist. There's other weird things at play. I know it's not a satisfying answer.
No,
but I think
actually
it is the
it
reality.
was.
Thank you. Okay, let's do last one by a guy.
That's it? Can we keep this going? This is
Okay,
so
let's keep going. Let's go.
satisfying. I got
Okay.
nothing else to do tonight.
That guy seems to be very excited. Go ahead. Pink shirt.
You can just say it. I'll hear it loud and clear. Well.
Hey guys, great to meet you, Asher. Casey, you spoke about the power of Web3 and Nas is a big part of the summit, etc. I've been in the space for 6 years now, so I'm curious to know, from your opinion, right? Like I've seen a lot of bullshit projects. Most of them are, coming and going. So from your perspective, where do you see Web3 helping creators? And I ask that as someone who's building a startup for content creators. We're building a platform that pays content creators to use independent artists' music in their videos, and then allows them to invest in those independent artists as they get more viral through music NFTs. So I'm curious to know from your perspective, where are some really, really powerful ways that you see Web3 helping creators, and how can they get involved?
The super short answer is I have no idea. The long answer is I do think decentralization generically is going to empower the creator in ways that we've never seen before. I think some of the biggest gatekeepers right now are the platforms themselves. I think that YouTube still with their demonetization, and I think they're trying to do the right thing. I genuinely, especially YouTube, because I know those people.
Right.
I know them personally. They're good people.
Right.
And they're trying their best, and they're still getting it wrong. And I think TikTok, I mean it, and I think TikTok, same. And I think Twitter is trying to do it in a way that makes sense and probably protects all of us, but it still feels weird and political.
Sure.
And I think they'll always be criticized for that, even though I think they're doing a good job of it.
Yeah.
And I think that like all of that is going to go away because of decentralization. And I think that's really exciting. You're not just going to own your content, but you're going to own the distribution as well. But I also see it like as a really scary Pandora's box.
For sure.
Because there's going to be really dark sides to that.
Of course.
But the short on Web3 and why I hate talking about it is that I think like this might be a really old reference for this young audience, but it's like it's 1999 right now, and we're trying to figure out what's going to work on the internet.
Pets.com.
And everything looks like Pets.com. And like, why did one stupid online bookstore work and everything else fail? I have no idea. Maybe Bezos was just smarter than everybody else. But if you asked any of those entrepreneurs in 1999 what the future of e-commerce looks like, there's no way they could have predicted it would manifest as it is now. And I think we're in a very, very similar place with Web3. And I'm just not smart enough to see that future. So I just say respectfully.
I think you said it right before, the same way that you create content and you realize an emotional connection is what really brings the viewership and people to engage. It's the same way that Web3 will bring true users and true utility, right?
Yeah, I hope so. I don't know.
Awesome. Okay, let's take it from a woman. Okay, right there. Oh no, behind you. Sorry, it's behind you.
She was so excited too. That was such a great wave.
Go ahead, go.
Okay.
Yeah, we can.
Okay. There's many independent content creators here, like myself on YouTube, and we start to see the traction coming. But then how do you go from grinding every day, putting the content out, to really building something bigger? Do you go on Upwork and start hiring a team? Do you go with a YouTube management company? Do you join a company like Jelly Smack that's going to help distribute your content? What would you say, when there's so many different routes you can take to grow, would be your recommendation?
That's
going
a great
from
question.
independent.
It's a really good question, and I'm so skeptical of anybody that says they can get you more views and those sorts of anybody who comes to you and says that they can get you to where they want to be, I'm always skeptical of. So I don't know, I don't understand that side of the equation. I do know that like the only thing that you can do is whatever's unique to you. So if you can find smarter people who understand other things better, and what I mean by that is like I genuinely don't care about things like thumbnails. I genuinely don't care about optimization. I don't care about tags. I've never cared about any of that stuff. But
Casey, this is bad advice.
I know. But I know people who do. And I talk to them about that sort of stuff. Like now, and this is coming from a position of privilege that's very hard to get to, but it's like, I don't know the brands anymore because I stopped paying attention. So I work with somebody who connects me with brands, who thinks there's a good alignment there. Same as Ben. Ben's much better than that than I am. And that's like, to say my answer much more concisely, it's like what you do that makes you unique is the nucleus. It's the sun. And whether it's a brand deal or optimizing for monetization or whatever, but those are all sort of satellites that rotate around your sun. So the only thing you can really control well is to get that sun to burn as hot as possible. And then just hire somebody, find people, whoever you think's smarter, advice. It's very, very easy to say, very hard to do. But get that sun as hot as possible, and those questions become much easier to answer.
So then after a video editor, what's your first hire?
I've never hired an editor ever in my entire life.
Sorry, you're a bad example of this. For many content creators, if they are hiring a video editor, or if you're not even, what would you say? Who is the person that you're looking for?
I can answer that. Get a video editor, then get an executive assistant. Okay? Do the things you should never do. Never use your calendar. Never worry about logistics. Never book a hotel. Save time so that you can focus on creativity. That's my answer.
That's not my answer.
Yeah, I know it's not your answer. That's the answer she needs.
Yeah, I don't know. The answer is there's no generic answer to that question. Your needs are only your needs, and they're different from the other 599 people in here. So any generic answer to that very specific question is one that should be met with skepticism. You have to understand, like, the square box that is your needs needs a perfect peg that fits in there, and that's what works for Nas and what's the most important to him, and I respect that. I hate having an assistant. It slows me down so much. How are they supposed to know what airplane seat to fly in? I've been on 10,000 planes. I know every plane on every airline in the country. And I hire some assistant for like $25 an hour, and they know better than I know. They've been to Orlando once. So it's what works best for you.
So Casey, what was your first hire?
Let's do next. Let's give more opportunity to others to ask. Exactly. Thank you. Let's do this kid. Go.
Don't screw this up, kid.
Hurry, go. Microphone.
That's a great question. How did I decide to start YouTube?
What?
I would like to know the answer, and it's a great question. Nas.
Nasir. My name is Nasir, not Nas.
How did you decide to start on YouTube?
I saw somebody who did it, and I realized I could do it too. I saw somebody who found meaning in it, and I realized I could find meaning in it too. So if you want to be something, look for somebody that's a role model, and then with enough time, you can become your own version, a different version of what they represent. And I think, so find a role model. I think that's a good place to start.
Okay.
Did anybody time that? Didn't that monologue sound exactly like one of his videos? Like, if the background was just changing, that's a perfect video right there. I would have like right-clicked and saved that video. Like,
Thank you. Right-click and save. Who does that? Okay. Your age is showing, my friend.
Oh man.
Let's do last question from a woman right there at the end. That person at the end. Yes. Go ahead. Yes, right there. That woman. Yeah. You get a mic. Because we're running out of time, Casey. We got a schedule.
Hi, Casey. I'm asking this question for a very dear sister of mine. She couldn't be here, but I really feel that she has a lot of self-doubt. I feel like she's a great content creator, but at the same time, she can make a lot of great films. But I think youngsters like her kind of pull herself back. So what kind of advice do you have for her, as a content creator?
Generic question will get a generic answer.
No, I think that's a good question. How do you overcome self-doubt? Is that the question?
Yes, that's right.
No, because it's real. Like when Homeboy in the red pants was telling his story about that comment that he wrote, and I was like, I don't read all the comments. Like, I get affected when I read a negative comment. Like,
you do?
I cannot handle it. I have not looked at my comments.
What's the biggest criticism of you?
Here's the thing. Anybody here who's ever posted on YouTube knows this. It's really easy to dismiss comments that are BS. But when you read that one negative comment and there's a hint of truth to it, and you know they're right, look, making 7 videos a week is really hard. Doing it for like 800 days in a row is even harder. And there are definitely some of my daily vlogs that I knew were weaker than others. Someday you just strike gold and it'd be this great story about like getting your drone off the roof or something. And then some days I didn't have much going on. I tried my best, but I still released it. And when somebody would be like, you can tell when Casey has nothing interesting to say. I'd be like, man, that hurts. How did she know I have nothing interesting to say? So overcoming that is really, really hard. And I think doing it in a vacuum is probably the best way to get better at it. Like, never read your comments.
Never read your comments.
Look, that's a very controversial thing to say, but that idea of like post and ghost, that I did not come up with that. I did not come up with that. But that idea of just post, it's powerful.
Wow.
Like a friend of mine did that thing on Twitter where like you can't respond unless you follow her. And I'm like, wow, that takes guts. She probably sleeps really well at night.
Wow. You never read comments. But you know, when I was starting, I actually kind of criticized you for this. I was like, Casey is too arrogant to create a piece of content and never engage with his audience.
I never engage with the
But
audience.
it's a one-way conversation, bro. It's supposed to be a two-way conversation.
I disagree. My YouTube channel is a fascist dictatorship, not a democracy. Whenever YouTube would call me and they'd be like, we're rolling out a great new tool that enables you to engage with them, I'm like, no, stop. Like live screenings, whatever the hell it's called, where you can like chat with people as they watch your premiere. I'm like, not this guy. Even like my doc, like last week we premiered it at a big film festival in the United States in Texas. And they're like, you have to be there for the premiere. And I was like, do I have to be there for the premiere? Like sitting in a room watching my own videos?
Cringe.
Much rather just click post, go to bed.
Wow. Last thing, Casey, you're a big fan of Dubai?
Huge fan of Dubai. Do you know that you can surf here? And I'm not talking some weird like indoor Dubai nonsense. I mean like, they have actual, I had no idea. So this morning we called this guy and we're like, can you surf in Dubai? And he's like, no, there's no surfing in Dubai.
I've never seen a wave in a year.
So we hung up and then went surfing, like real waves here with like other surfers, shortboard waves in Dubai. What was your question?
My question was, what do you think of Dubai? But I think we got the answer.
Oh, yeah, okay, but that's just like how amazing it is here for activities and stuff. I'll say like, we were like trying to make a fun video today. We organized 2 ways of going surfing in case one failed. The second way was literally going to a water park and using their flow thing. Okay, we went to the water park. I'm not a fan of water parks, mainly because there's a South Park episode about water parks and it's forever tainted water parks for me. Everybody at the water park, all the parents with their kids, all the little kids that like were in our way, everyone was so polite, so inviting. And not just that, but the thing that's unique about this city is everybody was from all over the world. So instead of it being like what I was afraid of, which is like what I experienced back home, which is a very crowded water park with screaming kids, and like, it was this melting pot, and everybody was so nice to us. They were so nice and so friendly and from all walks of earth. And I think for me, I've experienced some version of that every time I've been in that city, and that's both unique and extraordinary.